Good afternoon and welcome to the Design Masterclass. This is Shrink Plastic and we are joined by resident designer, Luscious Linda. There she is. My golden princess is here. The dream team. Now, I'm very, very excited. For a start, they've let me out of my cage early. They normally don't let me out until 4:30. But here I am, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And the beauty of our design masterclasses is that they're much more focused on one specific discipline. So if you love the idea of adding more strings to your bow, this is for you. And when you see how exciting Shrink Plastic is, particularly demonstrated by Linda, and when you see her fantastic piece of jewellery, which is very aptly named Geisha Colours, you will be blown away. So, the first thing we need to do is launch the specific tools you'll need for doing Shrink Plastic, and then we'll go and join Linda. So, I think we're going to start with the heat gun and heat mat. That's correct. Good, good, good. So, huge heat mat. And Linda, what is the main reason for using the heat mat?
Well, it's simply because it stops you damaging the surfaces that you're working on, obviously, and also it stops an incredible amount of heat sort of coming back under the product. It's a bit sort of spreads it a little. So
is it the same on both sides? Yeah,
yeah,
doesn't
basically, you know, it's essential because you don't want to damage any surfaces whatsoever.
So that is the heat mat that you get, very useful. In fact, you can use this for other things, like you can do polymer clay and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can just use it as a wipeable mat if you want to. But this is a great heat mat because it's one of the bigger ones that I've been able to source.
Ah, right, okay. So normally they come like A4 size, whatever, but this is a bit larger. Okay, and on top of that, the reason you need it is because we've got this 2-speed heat gun. I imagine. Okay, so you can either have it at 150 watts or 300 watts. So those are the two heats. There you go then. But it does get very hot. In fact, it even says here, not a toy, not intended for children under 6 years old. However, even though that sounds quite an imposing warning, this actually is a good technique to get children involved in, as long as you supervise the heating part.
Very much so, absolutely. Yeah, kids love it.
There you go. In fact, do I remember you making me a little gingerbread man once? Yeah.
Yeah.
Chloe,
yes, kids absolutely, really. I've just done some Beatrix Potter figures with my little 3-year-old granddaughter.
Yes, because I remember the first day we got it in the office, me and you were having a play, made a little gingerbread man. But yeah, I mean, these actually a bit of a genre-spanning product, isn't it? Because you can use this with other disciplines as well.
Oh, definitely, with your enamels and your resins and.
There you go. And we are actually going to offer you a saving today on this. If you buy this heat gun and heat mat as part of this bundle, UTGC42, you will make a saving. So if you are interested in, as Linda was saying, enamel, what else can we use it with?
Well, you can use it with a friendly plastic.
For friendly plastic, shrinking plastic, enamel, resins. There you go. So very multi-purpose tool, and you will be offering you a saving today, UTGC42, and here comes your price, just $19.95. Would usually cost you well over £20 for both these products, so you are making a fabulous saving. And to be honest, our usual price on the heat gun is pretty much the most competitive on the market. We personally haven't been able to source it any cheaper online. If you can, then good for you, but I very much doubt it. So UTGC42 is the bundle you'll need. These are the essential tools you'll need. However, I do believe you can heat the Shrink Plastic up in the oven as well.
Yes,
so,
you can.
You know, if this isn't something that you want to invest in right now, you can still buy the Shrink Plastic, have a go with it, use it in the oven, and then once you start getting more advanced, you're going to want to get a heat gun and heat mat, but you might not get it at $19.95 in the future. So UTGC42, your heat mat and heat gun for just $19.95. So we'll leave that one with you. My apologies, just moved that out of shot. But what you really need is some shrinking plastic. Okay. Oh, the other thing about our design masterclasses, because they're more focused, they give you the opportunity to interact directly with the designer and put your questions across. If you've got a specific question about Shrink Plastic, feel free to text it in for Linda. We'll put that to you. There's the number, 60777. Don't worry about the fact that it says between 9 AM to 1 PM. you can get through to our studio anytime. Text with JM Studio to 60777. Any questions about shrink plastic for Linda? Okay, so I'm going to move this to the side, just get this out of the way, because this is the really exciting bundle of shrink plastic. Now, you get 3 sheets of your shrink plastic. This is your translucent shrink plastic. And Linda can tell us all about this translucent shrink plastic, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, shrink plastic does come in colours, and it does come in completely and utterly see-through as well. But this frosted one, this translucent one, has a slightly rougher side, which is ideal for the next product that you're coming onto, for the inks and for painting onto whatever, because it just holds whatever medium that you're using, it holds it tighter. If you only have the clear, then you can do a very fine gauge sandpaper and rubber, but we're taking the work out.
I was going to say, you can feel when you get them home, you'll be able to feel that this has a rough side to it.
I use this one more than I use anything else.
I see.
Without a doubt.
Is that because it offers you so much scope, because you can add whatever colour you want?
It's a blank canvas, and I don't have to sand it to start with, so it's a blank canvas. I can just get going. Yeah. You
can just get cracking straight away.
Yeah.
That's the beauty with a discipline like this. As soon as you start,
yeah. When anybody creative has an idea, you want to do it now, not in 10 minutes' time.
Totally. Okay. This is just a sheet of transparent plastic. At the moment, we're going to show you how to turn it into something really, really exciting, but it doesn't look that exciting until we get started. So let's offer you everything else you need so that we can go over and see Linda designing with the shrink plastic. So we've got these alcohol inks, and we've got citrus colour. It says pool colour, so I imagine it's blue.
It is. It's very, very light blue.
And we've got the wild plum. You get 5 fluid ounces of each of the alcohol inks. Very nice colour. Can you mix them together and make different colours? Is that the whole idea?
Yes, this is probably what you're going to see in a minute.
Oh, here we go. I'm letting the cat out the bag too early. And on top of that, we've also got your cement glue. So the Hypo Cement Super Glue, proper crafting glue for completing all your designs, I believe.
Yes, I mean the glue will cover lots and lots of jewellery making issues, as it were. You know, don't underestimate the power of glue in any jewellery making. It's feasible. Don't worry about it.
When I create stretchy bracelets,
you're not cheating when you know it's a necessary evil sometimes.
Okay, so there you go. Yeah, you're never cheating with crafting.
No, not at all. No, and it is. A little pot of that glue will last you for a long, long time, and it's fantastic glue. You'll see when I open it.
Yes. So, without further ado, let's get the pricing for this. You will get 3 sheets of the transparent plastic when you get your bundle. NDGC74 is the code you need today. Just $17.95. That is an incredible price. The sheets of plastic alone should be around that price for 3 sheets of plastic. So there you go. You also get the 3 alcohol inks and the cement glue. For $17.95, that is amazing, but far more amazing than just this very uninspiring bundle. Currently, we are going to go over and join resident designer Linda. She's going to show us exactly what we can actually make, because with a discipline like this, it's much more about what you can make with it. And when you see Linda's design, you are going to be blown away. It's a phenomenal medium, Linda.
It is.
How excited were you by this?
It is. When I first started using it, sort of millennia years ago, as a child, I found it really exciting then and absorbing. But you know, we have grown it up, and you can grow this up, and you can get from it exactly what you want from it. This is such a medium that from this little simple sheet of shrink plastic here, you can
Look at this incredible design.
There's loads of designers out there that use it. You know, have a look on the internet and see what magical things that people are making using it. But I've also used Sari silks. You'll probably notice in there some Sari, which we're going to come to later in the master class as well. We're going to incorporate some Sari silk.
So it's easy to incorporate other disciplines in with this as well.
We're doing a double whammy here. Yeah,
a double whammy. I like
the shrink. Basically, the shrink plastic here is giving me a medium that looks like stained glass. Okay, and it very much does look like stained glass when you're finished with it. So and it's.
Well, you can see how well they sit with the genuine gemstones. In fact, they just give you a different texture.
Exactly. I mean, I put some lovely, what I call jewel colour gemstones that have gone with this and made a very sort of jewelicious looking wearable piece of jewellery.
But you can see where the name comes from now after all that. Those colours, vibrant colours throughout the design. The geisha coloured design. Absolutely fantastic. So we're going to get cracking with how to use the shrink plastic. It's one of those things where, because it's slightly different to what people would usually do, you can see some people might be a bit intimidated by the idea, if you like.
Don't be. I mean, it's a great thing to use. Basically, to make the sort of discs that are on this necklace, we start with a simple sheet of the frosted shrink plastic. And we need some of our alcohol inks as well. So we've got 3 beautiful bright coloured alcohol inks. Sorry, 2 really bright, and then 1 that's slightly less bright that you'll see how it works when it runs through. So all we do is we just take our ink, okay, and it's in a little dropper bottle, and basically we have a really good time doing this. Have a lot of fun, as the Americans say, and we just drop literally onto the shrink plastic. Just drop them. I mean, you can get really, really carried away with this, and the thing to do is, when do you stop? Okay, so we'll leave that colour there, and then we'll take another colour and do exactly the same thing. And we're going to drop, and you'll see, I'm going to drop one slightly closer and let it do its own thing. Okay, now eventually you'll see exactly what that does.
My word, this looks so fun.
It is fun, and as I say, it's a great thing with children, when children are involved as well. And there's a great designer, actually, the creative director of Ranger, who these inks are made by, Tim Holst, who's a big guy in the card making world and the scrapbooking world and things like that.
Oh yeah, you can see how this would translate into that very easily.
You know, you can find him on the internet with loads and loads of methods of how to use these inks on shrink, and then he's superb. Anyway, you can see that this is now starting to do its own thing. One other little trick I'm just going to put an extra blob of the pink wet on there, and then this is the first time I've actually done this, but I'm going to have a go with some of this compressed air that you sort of clean computers with. You see, by doing that, you can turn it to one side, and you can get, it'll run in all sorts of ways. You can get what I call the cartoon ink splatters. If you hit dead centre of that wet splat, you will get, you know, the cartoon splat, where like the Batman splat.
So it looks like a firework exploding.
Yeah, exactly. So play around with it and have some fun.
Can I ask a question? How come when you've put the pink on top of the blue, it's turned into a sort of purpley colour, but the green on top of the pink has held its colour?
It's literally the depth of colour, the point at which the inks hit each other. They dry very quickly, between 7 to 9 seconds on shrink plastic. It'll dry. These are ready now. That one less so, because I've just added it.
A bit more as well,
But just, there's not a time to sort of say stop. Stop when you think you've got what you're looking for, really. But you see all these sort of wider areas of the shrink plastic that I haven't used. That in itself will show as being really useful because of a stained glass look. You need to have a little bit of that see-through look as well. Okay,
so don't cover your whole sheet with colour.
Unless you want to, of course you can.
You might want that
but if you don't think, oh my goodness me, that's not going to work, because don't forget, this sheet of shrink plastic is going to shrink 7 times smaller, and it's going to expand 7 times thicker. Okay, it's going to go back to how it was in its original state.
Okay, I've got it.
Okay, so I'll take a piece I did earlier, okay, which has gone like that.
How did you create the golden colour? Was that the
that is just
the green on the blue?
Yeah, just the inks. They're running. There's lots and lots of colours of inks. This is the one that we're doing today.
Yep.
And the one that I just demonstrated. But this one I used at home, and that's the effect I got.
Okay.
And then after that dried, and it only literally takes between, as I say, 7 to 10 seconds to dry, and it becomes usable then.
Okay.
Is I took.
Is there any value in letting it dry for longer?
No. Once it's dry, it's dry. It's absolutely
it's
fine.
not going to, like, the colour's not going to get more intense or anything. No.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
And then I cut from that piece of plastic. I cut approximately a 2-inch circle. Okay, and I've cut on either side of that 2-inch circle. I've put a little hole. Now I've used. I will show you a hole punch that anybody who does scrapbooking, who does cards or whatever, will have loads of. But there's lots of them on the market, so use
you just cut the disc using a pair of scissors, just a normal.
You cut the disc with a pair of scissors, or if you've got any cutters, you know, there's lots and lots of shape cutters.
I'm sure a lot of the jewellery makers out there are going to have plenty of cutting implements.
Most of us have had a go at most things.
Of course.
So now we've done our painting. We've cut our circle and we've put our holes on either side. The holes obviously are to link into the design. Now here comes the fun.
They're your drill holes effectively, aren't they?
Yes, exactly.
Once you've made a bead out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So here comes the fun now. Now this could end up anywhere in the studio because I'm using my heat gun.
Watch your eyes, Ben.
So I'm using a wooden skewer to try and tame it a little bit. You can use a metal skewer, something that really you need to have your hand a little bit away from the thing that you're doing because you don't want to burn yourself. So just be careful. But this hopefully will keep it where it needs to be. So turn on the heat gun, and this hopefully is where the magic will happen.
Here comes the science part.
Yeah, this is the absolute magic. Just keep it. I keep it sort of probably about 1 inch, 2.5 centimetres away from the piece, and you see it's all starting to move now.
But that will settle down, won't it?
Should
if I remember rightly.
It should do. Yeah, absolutely.
Here we go. Here comes the magic.
Just keep it going.
You've got to stick with it, haven't you?
Absolutely. It doesn't take long, as you can see. So there we are. I'm keeping it at that. Now, should yours not flatten completely, just have something.
You can have it. Give it a little prod, can you?
You can just have something, even if you've got your like a heavy book or you know, the metal steel plate that you use for hammering on and that. Have that ready.
Encyclopedia Britannica.
Just literally bang it on.
Give it a little bang.
And you'll flatten it down. Okay, so that effectively, give it a few seconds to cool down. Be careful with this product because obviously there is a chance of burning yourself. My hands are now shrink plastic hardened, so I don't worry too much. But you can always use, you know, a pair of gloves, the sort of latex.
Asbestos fingers, like they say, like a chef.
Yeah. So now look, we're ready to go. So we've got our first disc that we've made for the necklace. Now for the design, I have used. What have I used now? I've used 13 discs for the whole design. Now if we don't get through to the whole of the assembly of this, then after the masterclass we're putting the assembly details onto Facebook for you, just in case you need to sort of look back and see, well, what goes where. So we make 13 of these discs.
How many can you get out of a sheet? I'm just thinking.
Out of the whole sheet, let me see, I've actually got one here that I started to cut from. So let's say
even have a little look actually, if we can grab one of your discs. Oh, there you go. So you've got
see, we've got 4 across there.
Grab one of those.
So we're going to put
a little bit of measuring.
You're going to get your 12. You'll get your 12 out of one sheet.
To be honest, if you were clever about how you did it, I reckon you could get a few more, couldn't you? I mean, if you went right up to the edge,
exactly,
you could probably get, say, 15, 16 out of it, do you reckon?
And then when you've cut all your shapes out of your shrink plastic, don't throw that piece of shrink plastic away, because you know you can always shrink the queer shapes that you get left with, and they always make good nice bracelets and all sorts of things, so don't throw them away.
Sort of like a funky little bad charms or something out of it. Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
It's a good idea.
So that's the first disc made.
I got that stuff.
No, it's fine. Now I've got another one here. This one is just literally a circle, okay, which I've cut from slightly different colours. Now I haven't put any holes into this one because this is on the design that I've done there on the necklace. Up on the sort of top, I think it'll be your top right side, yep. There are 3 little calla lily shapes.
Absolutely beautiful. Okay. Very popular. We have some gemstones that come in that shape, and they're so popular, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely do.
They always sell out.
So that little calla lily shape is quite a nice thing to make because it makes stunning earrings, and obviously it makes nice charms, pendants and all sorts. And you can make these as little or as big as you want. Now, just a very quick point. Because the shrink plastic obviously does shrink down 7 times smaller, a good tip to do is perhaps take a 6-inch ruler, that's a 15 centimetre ruler, and then cut that out, that whole ruler, cut it out with its little measurements on a piece of shrink plastic, and then shrink that piece of shrink plastic. Then you'll see, oh, I've got a 4-inch circle. Oh, I can see what the diameter of that circle will be.
You've got a genuine scale.
You've got a genuine scale
That's genius.
plastic then. So you can then use that as a measure. You can make something even bigger if you want. You can use that then as a measure to see how much smaller your sort of first template's going to be. And keep all the templates that you make, because you'll always use them again. So with this one now, we're going to make the calla lily shape. So don't put any holes in this one. Take the heat gun again, and exactly the same again.
This is the most exciting part, because creating these looks is absolutely, it takes your jewellery to another level. I mean, to create that calla lily look that is so popular with your gemstones, you can't actually believe that you can just create that look yourself. When you think of the lapidary work for it to go into a gemstone, it's taking you seconds to create the exact same look. And this design, the way you've incorporated it into these designs, is astounding.
So what we need to do now is we've got that, we've shrunk it, we're ready. Okay, so put your gloves on, or like me, just pull. You see those top 2 bits there? I'm just pulling them together like that. Simply pull that together.
Look how easy it is.
And that now, because it cools very, very quickly.
So you've got to do that while it's still hot. So
You've got probably a 7, 8, 9 second window.
Okay.
Okay, but don't worry. If within that window it's too cool to manipulate, reheat it. It won't go any smaller.
You can just reheat again and then get the shape you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So there's nothing's holding you back here.
Absolutely not. And if you're not happy with that calla lily shape, then reheat it again and it'll open back out into its circle.
Wow.
It won't get any smaller. It's gone to the level that it's always going to go.
How many times can you reheat it?
As many times as you want.
Oh wow.
Okay. If you get any little bubbles,
getting excited.
Any little bubbles in the shrink plastic, then just heat it again, and those little bubbles should disappear. Okay,
There's so much scope with this product.
Well, there is, yeah, there absolutely is. There's nothing that you can't do, no shapes you can't make.
Absolutely astounding. These calla lilies are going to be so popular with our crafters.
I think
as soon as somebody makes one of them, there's going to be no holding them back. They're going to be putting them into every design.
It's just such
absolutely astounding.
It's just such a nice thing to do as well, you know, with the magic of the plastic shrinking and everything. So I think what I'll do at this point then, Ed, is unless you're ready to launch sort of another
I think we carry on, because we're just all enamoured by your design at the moment.
Well,
what you've created
the calla lily then, so that is ready to go onto the necklace.
Okay.
So simply take that calla lily shape that you've made, and then Ed's going to show you a bundle of gemstones shortly. So what you need to do then is taking an ordinary eye pin. Okay, we're just going to take an eye pin. That one's a little bit on the thicker side. Now, if you find that you do have gemstones that won't fit onto the plated eye pins, which is exactly what's happening to me now. Okay, not a problem. We will take, because we're going to be using some wire as well later, we'll take some 4mm wire, okay, and just snip some off. Now, normally you can use most gemstones on the head pins, but if you find that you can't, just take a piece of wire, then taking your round nose pliers, take the flat nose pliers first, and we're just going to make our little head pin, okay, this is an eye pin, I'm sorry, eye pin. So right angles away from you, and then just take your round nose pliers and pull in, okay? So now straighten it up. So you've got your eye at the top, which will be your link. That's not a very good one. And then all you need to do then is to you'll find that 4mm wire will go through, if you're using a lot of the gorgeous sort of gems of distinction, or pearls in particular, then you know you're going to find that the lapidarist, if that's what you how you pronounce it, is that right? The guy that cuts the holes into, or drills the holes into the gemstones, depending on what gemstone he's got, he will make sort of larger holes, or he will make really small holes, not to intimidate the gemstone at all. So if all ends fail and you can't get an eye pin in, then just make your own, like I just showed you. Okay.
Yeah.
So all I did, I think I put on 7 of the pyrites, which Ed's going to show you some gorgeous ones in a minute.
Oh yes.
My eye on those over
the gemstones in the bundle that you've used to make this piece are absolutely amazing.
Stunning.
The colours are astounding.
Well, it was the agates that you'll see in a little while.
I can show everybody. Give you a little flash if you want of the crackled agates. These are what inspired the design.
This is the inspiration for the design.
You and I always agree that the gemstone often dictates your creativity.
Well, this
it guides you through your design, doesn't it?
Without a shadow of a doubt. I can't tell you how much I love this strand of agates. I just love the whole, it just shrieks gemstone to me, that does. It's got all the qualities, all the colours, all the little Mother Nature touches.
Well, you can see the high polish finish makes it look really, really elegant for like an evening piece, but then the internal crackles just give it a real depth to the gemstone itself.
And that was totally my inspiration for this piece.
And the colours as well, so vibrant. I mean, you've got that like marmalade tone there, and then you've got this sort of stormy violet, and then you've virtually got a pre-night colour there.
That's absolutely
this strand, I mean, it really has got, it's like a strand of almost like tourmaline or something, but except you wouldn't have the crackles.
No.
Not the only strand in this bundle though. Let's offer them their gemstone bundle, and then we'll see the end of the calla lily. Right, you've also got, wow, these almost have a sort of lime green.
They have, haven't they? They're absolutely beautiful.
A zesty tone to these.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Faceted.
They are gorgeous. They're pyrites, aren't they? Green coloured pyrites. You're right, they are.
Oh, they are green coloured pyrite. That'll be why they have a sort of greeny colour to them then. So 60 carats of green coloured coated pyrite. These are in 3mm rounds. You could even create beady beads using these to go on your design. Oh yes, I can see it now. Yes. I'll just turn it around and give everybody a little.
On the back of the design, I put a little beady bead on a dangle.
There you go. Just a nice little finish to the piece, the beady bead. Everything on this design is just, you can tell everything's been thought about, nothing's out of place. Were there many happy accidents when making this, or was it as soon as you saw these gemstones you knew what you were going to make?
As soon as I saw those agates I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to put the inks, and I knew I wanted to use the Sari silks as well.
On top of that, you also get these these are colour bang. These pink fuchsia quartzites, faceted rondelles, the size just 4x2mm, so another delicate gemstone, but a real punch of colour.
Stunning.
Going to work absolutely amazingly well with the more muted tones in here, but also with the sparkle, because the facets on there is going to pick up the sparkle in the pirates, isn't it?
Yeah, it's stunning. It's just exactly what you need for this sort of this sort of type, can I say, or certainly this style of necklace.
The style, because you can see it's all about colour.
Yes.
That's what this is about, isn't it? Yeah. And then, when you are working with a lot of vibrant colours, you do need something a little bit more muted to set it off against, because you're not going to see those colours without these clear quartz.
That's exactly right. Exactly.
The clear quartz just set it off perfectly, and again, 3mm plain rounds, so very dainty. And these three being smaller allows this strand to really take centre stage. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, well, without further ado, we're going to give everyone the opportunity to own this gemstone bundle. Less than £5 a strand, just £17.95 today. The code you need is FJGC56. The phone lines are getting quite busy. It's been a busy day today at Jewellery Maker. We're halfway through our masterclass here, and so everybody now has had the opportunity to buy the heat gun and heat mat. They've got their shrink plastic bundle, and now everyone's piling in for the gemstones. That's a deal, to be honest. Even if you're not interested in shrink plastic and you just love beading, get hold of this bundle, because when are you going to get the opportunity to own 6mm green pyrite? Sorry, they're 3mm.
3mm green pyrite,
3mm green pyrite, 3mm fuchsia quartzite, and 3mm clear quartz. They're going to be perfect for a lot of your designs that are coming up anyway, especially if you love making beady beads, which so many of you do. Just £17.95 then for the gemstone bundle. I'll leave that one with you, everyone, and we are going to go back
to the calla lily.
The calla lily, yes.
Right, okay, so we've threaded on 7 of the pyrites onto my piece of wire here. All we need to do now is to pass that piece of wire through, you see where I made that calla lily, by bending it over just at that point with finger and thumb. I've left myself a little hole at the top, which is obviously the part where the calla lily holds onto the stem. Just pull it through, and then I popped on another, just because I could and because it looked a little bit more. Don't forget, these flowers are particularly stylized flowers. They're not botanically correct by any means. They're just an image.
No, they're a design.
Of a shape.
Yeah. They're
and then all you need to do after you've threaded on that one there at the tip is to create another simple loop. So I'll just bend that over. I should do that with my flat nose pliers. Naughtily, I did it with my round nose pliers. About 1 centimetre away, chop off, and just do a simple wrapped loop. Okay, that's the part that you will attach to the chain. So now we have a calla lily shape with our stopper, which you can put a little dangle onto the end if you wanted to. You can put another little dangle on, and that can go in any direction that you want it to go in according to the flow of the necklace when you finally put it all together. So that's the shrink plastic part. That's creating the disc and creating the calla lily.
Look at that. That is just you've taken my breath away.
I think it's the stained glass look. It's very clever little product, shrink plastic is. Like I say, you can make it very grown up.
I mean, as I say, you've actually, we have the same in sort of agates and stuff, don't we? We have the calla lily shapes. But imagine how labour intensive it is for lapidarists to cut into those shapes. But you've managed to create the exact same look in seconds, really.
And Ed mentioned earlier that when we were doing the mat and the heat gun, that, you know, if you don't want to go and buy the heat gun and the mat today, okay, fine, fair enough. You can use shrink plastic in the oven on temperatures of 350 degrees Fahrenheit at 180 centigrade, gas mark 4. And if you just pop them in, and if you're lucky enough to have a glass oven door, you can actually see the magic work. But probably the best thing to do is you put them on a baking tray and then put a rack over the top.
I was going to say, because you said the way they can
and then,
quite light,
you know, they'll stay. And so that's 2 ways you can do them, in the oven or with a heat gun. I think you might, don't quote me yet, I'm going to try it. I think if you've got the melting pot, you can use dry melting pot and do it as well.
That is my understanding, but let's...
Yeah,
we'll test that first before you go welding it to the bottom of your melting pot.
Right, now, I think we need to come on to making the Sari silk bead now. And then it's a matter of putting it all together.
We also have a bundle for your Sari silks. So we're using 0.4mm gauge wire by any chance? There we are then. Okay, so we've got your wire in as part of the bundle. Antique bronze coloured 0.4mm gauge wire. Then you've got your findings, your antique bronze findings. 98 pieces in total of all your findings. That's just as part of the bundle. And then all your Sari silks. Now the code you need for this is BSGC. Is it 88, did you say? BCGC 88, there you go. So the graphics are just coming on screen now, but how much Sari silk do you get here?
That's great bundle, isn't it? Those are the scraps, what we call, a horrible word, what we call those
forest green, you've got your ruby red, and you've also got this amber and purple. You've got your mustard or gold colour. Wow, you got some really... I feel like a magician, you know, like when he starts pulling it all out of his sleeve and it just keeps going. There we go. Where's... Well, they just said, where's my rabbit? I need a top hat.
These are
tan colour. You've got your nude tones, the new black.
Yeah,
I'm quite a fashionista these days, you know, Linda.
But these are Sari silks. They are from Sari fabrics that are, you know, making beautiful saris. And
wow, there's so much fabric here.
That sort of the colours will be different in each bundle.
Turquoise colour fabric, so popular.
But this is the mixed Sari silk.
Yeah, I'll say.
Tons and tons. I mean, if you saw in when we launched the Sari, I know it's beautiful.
Cute little design on there as well. Look,
when we launched
really
the Sari
beautiful.
silks, we made sort of flowers and that from them. So
they remind me of, you know, you see like you see it a lot at like bridal shops and stuff, you know, like vintage handkerchiefs and stuff. That's what they actually remind me of. Really elegant, every colour under the sun, very opulent colours you've got throughout. You've got the regalities of your purples, you've got the vibrancy of your mustard tones, you've got the freshness of your greens, decadent gold colours. Absolutely astounding, and you can see exactly where the inspiration came from when you go back to that crackled agate. Absolutely astounding. Okay, we can go have another look at the findings so you know exactly what you're going to get. There you go, you've got your head pins, your eye pins, your shepherd's hooks, your ribbon cord endings, very useful for, well, macrame designs, but also any bracelet designs actually. Yeah. You've got your chain, a metre of chain, you've got your toggle clasps, your crimp beads, your crimp covers, and you've even got your little Henrietta clasp as well. So, you've got all 98 of your findings. You've also got your 0.4mm gauge wire, 10 metres in total, and you've got all your Sari silks as well for $12.95. Wow, that's an astounding price. I was expecting it to be a little bit more than that. So imagine how far all of those are going to go, because I imagine you didn't use all of these to make the beads you've used in this design.
Nowhere near.
No?
Nowhere near, probably 1%.
1% of all this into this design, so that means you could create 100 of these designs. Easily. Or certainly the Sari beads for 100 with this bundle alone. $12.95. Even if you don't want to create this look, if not, I want to know why, because it's one of the most beautiful pieces of jewellery I've ever seen, particularly if people love to wear a mixture of textures and... Yeah, well this dare I say, shabby chic is very in as well at the moment, and I think this is very much that look, you know, beautiful, but it has got that sort of slightly rough edges that you'll either love or you'll hate. Oh, I don't see how anybody...
I don't think there's a middle ground. I think you will.
Is it a bit of a Marmite design,
I think it's a Marmite design, yeah. I think you will or you won't. I'm hoping that you will. But, I mean, I love this look.
I'm not having
that. It's very Gemma Crow look. In fact, Gemma's been in, she's in a workshop.
It is a contemporary look, actually. You can see how it's got the sort of like... it's a bit of a mix of contemporary with a vintage style, but with a contemporary look.
Gemstones, you can use the gemstones, and they have their place as well.
Yeah, it's the colours for me that are doing it.
Very much so, very much
so. So we are going to find out how to create these beads from these Sari silks, which I think has offered this design a completely different texture, a really different feel. I'll try and get you one that's got a nice colour to it.
Yes, that's the beauty of the silk that have been sort of cut as they are, because you will get different little, and some of these here, there's patterns in them, and you will get those little rough edges where, particularly some silks, they have layers of silk within them of different colours, and you'll get a bottom layer.
Check that one out there.
Yes, exactly.
That's
so you've got sort of some deep blues and some of the turquoisey blues come through. So that is the beauty of a very natural product.
Okay, so it's effectively wire-wrapped fabric, really, this is, isn't it?
I mean, very simple to do. Now, this is where the glue comes in. Now, be careful. Obviously, this is a very, this is a glue that, with any glues, you need to be careful. Okay, again, with me, with my heat techniques, and I've got these sort of very asbestos hands. But all you need to do is you'll use your glue, and this is a great glue because it's got this very fine tip, so you just need to put the glue exactly where you need to. So cut the silks. I think later in the show we may even be offering the ribbons of Sari silk as well. But take the strips. I use some of my strips at home and I cut them into ribbons. Okay, doesn't matter. Don't be too perfect about sizes. Just literally chop a length of them, say a centimetre and above.
So just like take this and just cut a strip.
Straight down in strips. Okay. Yeah, I think we may be putting a bundle in of the ribbon silks in a bit. But all you do then is take one of the head pins, okay, one of the head pins. Take the ribbon and pop the head pin and the ribbon sort of at the top, just where you've just got your little tip, your little simple loop there, okay, and then just ease the ribbon around just once or twice, and then taking the glue, just attach a tiny little bit of glue, okay, and pop it back, and then again being careful, you don't want to stick.
Make everything look so easy the way you do everything one-handed.
Yeah, just keep moving it round. I might not have applied as much as I need to apply, but just do it tentatively at first. This is just really to get the fabric connected, not so much to the eye pin, but the fabric. And then all we need to do then is to take the ribbon.
So you've got to pull that quite taut then.
Yeah, that I was just about to say. You need some sort of a tension on that, okay? Keep it there until you come to, I'll come back and put a little bit more glue on that in a minute. You come to about just under a centimetre from the end of the eye pin. Taking your flat nose pliers again, little right angle away from you, round nose pliers, and just bring it back, creating another simple loop, okay? So that will then obviously attach the bead at either end, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to return it. Now I found the most easy way to return that ribbon along is by holding that eye pin in the same direction. Don't turn it round. You've worked your way down it. Still hold it at the same end, creating that same tension. Bring it back, okay? It's a little bit like perhaps doing, now I've turned it when I've got to the middle. Okay, because the area that I've got to has now changed. Now if there's a little bit sticking out at the other end, this is the time where you wrap it in again, okay? And take it down again. And what we're sorting, as Ed said, we need a little bit of tension because we're trying to get it tight at either end. And then you just create the layer effect. And then we're creating a layer effect. We're also trying to emulate some sort of a little bit more around the centre, more like a rice bead shape.
I see.
Okay? Yep. And then when you come to the end, more glue. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is attach more glue to that, just literally along there. Okay, sorry if my head keeps coming in, see my roots are being done.
We'll let you off. Tomorrow. We'll let you off, Luscious Linda.
They won't be so bad tomorrow, they're going to be blonded up again. Now, let that go off a little, okay, and then take off the...
Dries quite quickly, does it, the craft glue?
Yes, it does. Not quite, strangely enough, not quite so much under studio lights.
Oh yeah, because the heat.
That's really weird for some reason. Whereas at home, it goes off quite quickly. Obviously, work in a ventilated room, okay? And
we don't want anybody getting lightheaded while they're making their beads.
No, work in a well-ventilated room, and try not to inhale it. Now when that has taken and gone off, as it were, just take a length of the 4mm wire at the end of the original loop on the eye pin, and then just pop the 4mm wire with the shorter end and the longer end, okay, and just twist around that loop, okay. Now at home you will have been able to wait for that glue to go off, okay. Just bring it down in a sort of a spiral way, let it do its own thing. When it gets to the next loop, twist it round again.
And just to say, if you are new to the hobby, and obviously you made the creating the loop look quite easy, but it is actually a beginner technique. So obviously we're assuming that if you're investing in the shrink plastic as a new discipline, you probably got hold of the basics. But if it is your first purchase, you will receive free booklet and Get Started DVD that will take you through all the introductory techniques. I believe it might even might even be resident designer Linda that actually does the tuition itself. So don't panic thinking, oh, I wouldn't be able to make that loop. That's all taken care of with your first order. So sorry, I just realised that you made the loop quite quickly. You know what I mean?
That's a very good point. It's always better to have something to refer back to.
Of course,
you don't want to be thinking how to do that if you haven't been shown before. Right. So now we've got what we've effectively got. Now we've got several. I'll tell you exactly how many you should make.
I can see what you've done here. You've created a pool-coloured one, a wild plum-coloured one, and a what's the green one called? Citrus. There you go.
Absolutely, without knowing. So you need to make, let me just refer, 13 discs.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And 12 of
Sari beads.
The Sari beads.
Okay.
Okay. And also 4 of the calla lilies, because on the back of the necklace I put one of the calla lilies on the back and a disc on the back as well.
So it's this piece is it's just finished to perfection. Everything. You can see the way it's finished with that little drop on the.
It certainly is. It's an enjoyable piece to make, to be honest, because it's going to be simple from now on in, and I'm not saying it hasn't been simple up to now, but you can make variations.
No one's going to believe it's simple when they see this stunning design. That's the thing. It looks as though it looks like a a showpiece, a catwalk piece?
Well, you can do that. I was just about to say that. I'm glad you did. You can make a catwalk piece. You know, if you like jewellery that's big and bold, then this is where you can go with these products. But if you want it less, you know, slightly more understated, then you can do that as well. You might only just want one layer of it. You might want, you know, several layers of it graduated. You might want it all in a big clump. But with the techniques learned, the shrink plastic and the bead wrapping, etc.
The world's your oyster, isn't it?
The world is very much your oyster.
You can take this wherever you want it to go.
Absolutely.
The beauty of a piece like this for me is that as we go into the autumn and the winter months, people start to wear more understated outfits, don't they? Exactly. And then you can have you can still have your bit of colour from the accessory itself, can't you?
Absolutely. Right. Now, putting the design together.
Okay.
As I say, I will put the whole thing from start to finish, other than what you've just seen me make, and if you want that I will put that on as well to consolidate that. But I put the assembling of it, or will be putting, or Chloe will be, not me, I don't know how to, but Chloe will be putting hopefully the assembly of the piece onto Facebook. So we've got our beads made, we've got our discs made, we've got our calla lily made, and we've got all our gemstones, and we've got our wire. So all we need to do is assemble.
So now we're just down to the beading part, we're just assembling it, putting it into a design.
With the 4mm wire, take your 4mm wire, a good length, probably about 7-8 inches. You always need more because it's annoying if you haven't got enough and you're using you're into a tight fit at the end. So take a length of your 4mm wire and start off with what is going to be a wrapped loop. So push away, flick of the wrist round, and then when you bring that back, stop. Don't finish off the wrapped loop, okay? Take your round nose pliers out. Now we're going to start with a disc on the first layer. So pop that in through one of the holes on your disc. Now let the disc dangle, okay, in the little loop that you've made. Put your round nose pliers back in, and then pull down onto the prongs so that you hopefully will get a nice circle. Pull that up so it's nice and straight, the long length, and then wrap the shorter length around the long length. You've now got what we call a wrapped loop, and it's a perfectly safe option for putting your beads together. Trim off your excess. Now we're just evolving a pattern, really. So my pattern went with a pyrite, which I popped on. Then I followed it with a quartzite, which is that gorgeous, lovely pink. Then I followed it with another pyrite, I think.
This whole design has a really layered feel to it. You know, you're building up the textures, you're building up with the gemstones.
That's right, absolutely. The next thing I came to was one of my fabulous agates.
Oh, I love these agates.
So gorgeous, gorgeous. They're also, I mean, they're just jewel colours to me. I love feeling them. I love working with them.
Check out the colour of this one here.
I know, look at that. That is such a stunning colour.
Turquoise colour with this pale banding through the centre. I mean, these crackled agates have so much depth to them.
The beauty is that each strand is going to be unique. Each strand is going to be slightly different to the other. So, you know, if you or your friend make up this design, they're going to be different. They won't be the same.
Yes,
whereas
true.
if you're using acrylics and plastics and things like that in the shops,
you
then
start to get
it will get uniform, and it will get a sort of a solid look.
Yep.
So we've got the disc on. We've done a pyrite, we've done the quartzite pyrite, we've put the agate on, and then we've done a mirror image of the pyrite and the quartzite. So now we just literally hold that upright like that, take the round nose pliers again, and do exactly the same again, form half of a wrapped loop. So bring it back on itself. And now the exciting thing is we can pop in one of the Sari silk beads.
It's like you're making one elongated long bead of its own.
So the Sari silk bead's in there now. So same again, pop your round nose pliers back in. Now we've got some weight on it now, okay? So unlike the first bit, now we're going to work with it at the side. So bring the wire down on top of the prongs. If you bring it down on top of the prongs, you're more than likely going to get a nice round wrapped loop. Okay. And then turn it around. Okay.
And I suppose that the more you do these things, the more your confidence grows. Because I mean, like I say, when I look over, that looks, you're making it look easy to me. I know that I would find it a little hard, but it doesn't matter how long it takes you, does it? You're not in a rush by this point. And when you're doing the assembly, you've got as long as you want to make the design.
But the essential part of this design for me, and I'm not just saying it, I really do truly mean it, the essential part of this is this shabby chic look. So don't overblow it, don't over worry it, relax and see what you end up with.
It's quite interesting actually, because we're using a synthetic material.
Yes, we are.
But we're creating exactly the same feel as you would with a gemstone.
Yeah,
where it has a narrative,
Ed?
it has a texture, it has its own story, it looks different to everybody else's. So there is a place for all of this, isn't there?
But the thing is, I mean, I have perhaps shot myself in the foot when I'm talking about using plastics, that we are using shrink plastic, but we're working with shrink plastic, we're putting things into shrink plastic, we're using creativity, we're using design process and that. We're not just picking up a shop bought plastic bead and using it, we are making this and we're putting character into it, and it'll evolve, working beautifully well.
I mean, you've been caught with the calla lily design, for example. Yes, we've used plastic there, it's great, but each and every one's going to look different because you can use different alcohol inks to create different colours, and then you've used gemstones with it to create your own bead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely phenomenal look that you've been able to create here.
So what we do now is a repetition on a theme. We again, we pop our wire in, having made half of a wrapped loop, put the pliers back in and finish off our wrapped loop. And then you can continue in any sort of pattern direction that you want to. But then I sort of slightly change my pattern direction. You'll notice in mine I've used pearls, but I've got these here. I've been able to have these beautiful clear quartz.
The quartzite even, couldn't you?
You could,
if you wanted to.
But again, I've kept the pyrites going all the way through because the pyrites really shine and take on all of the colours.
They're faceted, but they also have that.
Yeah, absolutely. They are stunning.
Slightly off-green colour, which really does draw the eye, doesn't it?
It really does. It's a very vibrant colour. So now I'm using a pyrite followed by one of the clear quartz, followed by another pyrite, and then whoops, picked up the wrong one. But as I say, just let your own sort of creativity evolve through.
This really is about expressing your own creativity,
very much,
isn't it?
And I'm going to use this gorgeous one.
I love that one. That's my favourite one. It's got like an apatite colour going through the turquoise.
That's why I love agates.
That's why I love all gemstones, to be honest.
Agates in particular just have so many delicious colours and so many delicious textures. I find them probably one of the most tactile gemstones.
It's probably why they work in this sort of mixed medium design. So now
we're on to our next addition that we've made. So we've repeated these are our connectors in between the discs and our beads that we've made from the Sari silk. So again,
creating the wrapped loop.
Half of a wrapped loop, and now we're ready to pop in another disc. So pick one. Now you'll notice on these discs very, very quickly, when I've used the type of shrink plastic we've used, which is the frosted, one side has got like an opaque look, right? Now if I flip that, one side has got a glassy, shiny look. Now you'll see that really works well with the calla lily.
Absolutely incredible.
Because you can have a frosted on the outside, and you've got both sides are visible of the shrink plastic.
In the centre of this colour, you can see how the frosted side is letting the pyrite do the work, but then when it flips over, you can see the high polish finish.
Exactly.
To set against it. It looks absolutely phenomenal. I can't believe how quickly you've created that calla lily look, actually.
So now we've just made half of our wrap loop. We've let our disc drop down again, and then again, keeping the work, which is getting slightly heavier now. Move that just slightly aside, that pyrite slightly aside, because now we're working obviously with a slightly thicker commodity in the shrink. So we're going to bring that back down, and then we're going to take it round and push it onto the prongs from the side now, and push it down. Okay, and again just trim off the excess. Now repeat that. Repeat that until on your first layer you have, and you end on your first layer. We've got three of the very first strand that you do will have 3 of the Sari silks, okay? And the second layer will have 4 Sari silks, and the third layer will have 4 Sari silks. But I've explained on Facebook that you start off on one side, one layer will start off with a disc, and end with a shrink and end with a sari. Okay, and then that's repeated. I think that's on the middle and the second strand, and the third strand. The first strand will start with a sari silk and end with a disc. So on either side, when you've put these together, okay, your 3 strands together, you will have, as a starter on one side, you'll have 2 discs and 1 sari silk, and on the other side you'll have 2 sari silks and 1 disc.
That makes total sense.
All you need to do then is to pop on all 3 strands at either end is one, you'll get them in the findings pack, is a jump ring. Okay, so you've got 3 jump rings on the one end.
Get that as part of the bundle that's currently being displayed on screen.
On the one end there's 3 jump rings, on the other end, the clasp end, you've got 3 jump rings, and then put all 3 jump rings through 1 jump ring. Okay, so that basically then you have just got the 3 strands are attached by a jump ring to a single jump ring. Okay, and then you attach the chain to that jump ring. Okay,
you can see that
on that side.
And that's where you've put your calla lilies.
Yeah, my calla lilies, I've just gone up 4 chain links, then I think 9 chain links. It's all corroborated. I can't quite remember.
It's an asymmetrical design, so you've done that on one side because that's...
On one side I've put the 3, and we've gone up. I worked up from the jump ring by putting the first one onto about the 4th chain, and then the next one I think I went on to the next 5th chain, and then the next 5th chain. I've actually written it down.
That's right. It's a 4 curbs up, then 5 curbs up, then 5 curbs up.
That's right. And just attach them. But again, you know, that's not written in stone.
And then you've used the final one to finish.
And then just make a dangle using a calla lily at the top. And then you can see why I used an eye pin, I'm sorry. Why I used an eye pin, because I needed that eye pin then to do the rest of that. Then you could make a pair of earrings just like that dangle at the back.
There you have it. Well, the other thing we did mention is that we had another Sari ribbon bundle to offer, and we're even going to offer you a price slash during the masterclass. It will be available with you until 9 PM tonight at the end of the late show. So we are going to bring the graphics on screen for this now. It looks like you don't get that much because it's tied up. You get so much in here. I'm not going to undo it because it just means, shall I? All right then.
I can take it home then because it's been really
We're going to offer you a price on this, but only until 9 PM. Okay, here it comes. The code you need is MDFT36. And I can't undo it. Am I being really silly?
No, it's a bit like
it's down from £9.95 to £7.95. So if you do buy it now, see. This is why we have the experts on the show, because I'm so tentative.
It's a bit like when we used to, if anybody out there is as old as I am,
as old as what I am,
it's like when we used to do wool. So there's absolutely
there's so much.
Tons
for £7.95, that's an incredible price slash, but only available until 9 PM this evening. There you go. Even that slide there, it's a beautifully taken picture, but it really doesn't show
honestly,
you how much you get.
There's so much, and there's so many beautiful. I mean, there's ribbons in here I haven't seen in other skeins of sari silks.
This gives you even more scope for your sari bead designs.
And you know, with the beads, I've just shown you how to do a rice bead, but
you could take it in any shape you wanted.
Yeah, you could put it onto a piece of wire and then gizmo the wire, and then you're gizmoing in the silk.
Could you create a sort of, say, like a cube-like structure and fit the sari?
Use the wire. I think actually I did some with the gizmo the other day, and they worked out fantastic because you've got twisted wire and twisted silks using as beads. You know, do them, send them in. Let's see.
People are flying in to take advantage of the multicoloured sari ribbon price slash, available till 9 PM. As I say, the code you need is MDFT36. It's been a really, really popular masterclass today, Linda, and in fact somebody has sent in a question for you. Here it is. It's from Joanne. It says, hi Ed and Linda, great demo. Can you texture shrink plastic while it's still hot? I was thinking of trying embossing the sheets.
Yes. Yeah, my answer to that, Joe, absolutely, definitely yes, I've done that. You can use your stamps, your embossing powders, you can use anything, your texture sheets. I used a cork off a brandy bottle the other day and put it in, and I got a board. Yeah, it was lovely because I drank the brandy. Honestly, you can use any form of anything that you see lying around that's got some interest to it. You've got those 7 to 9 seconds before it gets too cool to take the embossing, but just do that straight away. If it doesn't work first time, just keep reheating.
So you can reheat it and try again. Absolutely. Of course you can. That's the beauty of this discipline itself. there is so much you can achieve with shrink plastic.
It's infinite. It's totally infinite.
You can take it any way
you want.
You think of,
Absolutely.
you can try it, and if it doesn't work, just heat it up and try something else.
Yeah.
So
Gemma Crow and I are going away for a month. We're getting lost for a month, and we're working together and doing all sorts of things.
Oh, I see. There's going to be some hefty designs to go there. Can I ask you a question? When you go away, I don't think you two should be taking too many bottles of brandy with you. That could definitely end in tears.
Somewhere quiet.
Right.
Near a pub.
In a pub. So, with the design you've created here, I mean, as I say, you've taken it in this way, and you've taken us through each stage, but there's nothing to stop you using the techniques you've shown us today to create something that looks completely different.
Completely, and I'd love to see those designs, I really would. Be really encouraging to see some of those designs.
Yeah, we'd love to see them on the Wall of Fame, wouldn't we? So we are going to upload this masterclass to YouTube this afternoon. Not sure exactly what time, but by the end of today it will be up. And the instructions for assembly will be put on Facebook later today. Only got time to say a quick bye from me and Linda. And don't forget to come back at 5 and join me for the late show.
Bye.
Bye.